They're criminals. Is that it?
Rising up against their own government, they are criminals. People should do what their leaders tell them to do. Would you sanction the assassination of David Cameron?
Surprisingly enough, no.
Well, there we go.
Typically extreme and borderline vile opinions there from Mr. Shittlebob. Also try and balance things out, as is quite necessary on this programme lately. The regime under Gaddafi has gone on long enough. He's been a tyrannical ruler, involving genocide amongst other means of control to his public, and basically the Libyan people en masse have had enough and have decided to revolt. And as much as I don't agree with the methods of revolt, in so much it's seen lots of violence and loss of life, I can only applaud and get enthusiastic even about the notion of revolution in that country. To me, it's again a very important message to send out to everyone, that people power still exists and governments can be overhauled when necessary.
Thing with Gaddafi, I'm sorry to interrupt this.
I don't think you are, but carry on.
This diatribe of good intentions. Thing with Gaddafi, he doesn't mean any harm. He's like a small child playing a game.
I might contact Ofcom myself actually to see if they're listening in, because you couldn't possibly say anything more offensive if you tried, Richard. I just try to Christ, Allah, and anyone who's listening, but there aren't any Libyan people listening, because they will no doubt be extremely offended at your utterances, you vile man.
You might support them, Nathaniel, but if you lived in Tripoli, they'd have you executed for your vile ways.
I don't think they would. I think you're trying to paint a picture of the Libyan people that doesn't exactly exist. You've got this image in your head of these backward pseudo-Africans who ingest horse tranquilizers up their anus and should do as a damn well told. I don't think that's a true indication of the true Libyan people, is it?
No matter what you say, your way of life, your antics, your bumming would not be tolerated in Tripoli.
Well, I wouldn't invite people to see any of my bumming, if that's what you want to call it. It's a very private affair, and it doesn't normally involve an audience, so there's no cause to offend anyone. As to whether it would be tolerated, I'm not up on Libyan law, so I think you're being a bit flaky again and incredibly judgmental about what happens in that country, because I don't think, frankly, you have a clue.
I think we've got off on the wrong foot here, Nathaniel. Let's try and mellow this conversation out.
Very well.
And let's try a different tack.
I'm all for the mellow.
Now, Gaddafi, you can say lots of things about him, but he does have a marvellous sense of humour.
Have you heard any of his jokes?
Well, just look at him. Just look at him. He clearly doesn't take himself particularly seriously. Just look at him.
He has a strange image, I grant you.
He lives in a teepee.
Does he really?
He lives in a teepee. He's got a crack force of security guards, which consist only of beautiful women. He's like a Bond villain.
Do you suppose he ingests horse tranquilizer up his anus?
I don't think Gaddafi does, no.
No?
I don't think he does, no. That's the rebels.
Well, that's a shame. So, but your take on matters is that you wholly disapprove of the rebellious nature of the people of Libya.
Keep everything the same. Leave it as it is. The world's okay. Let's go on as we were. No problem. Why does everything need to change? I hate change. Why does everything need to change constantly?
Well, would you feel the same way, Richard? I know it's not going to happen, just a purely hypothetical idea, but let's say Mr. Cameron came up with the idea that Christianity was to be banned in the UK, would you rebel, or would you accept it like the muppet that you want us all to be?
I would question it, and I would continue to worship in the privacy of my home.
Okay, but you wouldn't feel the need to speak out about it?
No. If the Prime Minister issued a diktat that I happen to disagree with, I would privately, I may even say it to Yvonne, but it would go no further than that. But I would continue practicing my faith. That would never stop.
Well, there's something commendable in that, Richard. I'm actually finding myself in humble admiration in some ways.
Thank you.
But at the same time, obviously, my point is that if a government dictates that they want you to do something that you feel is wholly unjust and blatantly incorrect, then it is your right and indeed your absolute must do to rebel against that.
Last month, I paid £3,000 in tax.
Yes.
I didn't want to do that. I had to do that.
That's a different argument completely, Richard, isn't it?
Not really, no.
Yeah,
your point is, we should protest against every tiny little thing that the government makes us do we disagree with.
Once again, you're trying to put words in my mouth that don't exist. I'm not saying we should protest against every tiny little thing.
Because that's all we'd ever do. That's all we'd spend our lives. If you had your way, that's all we would spend our lives doing. Would be every morning we'd get up, we'd open the paper, we'd go, I don't like that, and we'd go out and start protesting.
No, we'd have to make time for making love in between.
I missed that. I do apologise. I missed that line.
We'd have to make time for some making love in between.
Well, I've got nothing against making love, Nathaniel, no matter what you might think. I'm not averse to people making love. What I'm averse to is the sickening acts of depravity that you indulge in.
Well, we see
jabbing things up your urethra.
No, I guess
left, right, and centre.
I guess someone
menage a trois, men with cock rings.
Well, it's none of your business, Richard. That's the fundamentals of it. If I want to get involved with a man with a huge cock ring, it doesn't offend you.
It does offend me. It absolutely offends me.
What I do
wouldn't have brought it up otherwise, would
your business.
I wouldn't have brought it up otherwise, would I? I wouldn't have mentioned it if it didn't offend me.
Yes,
it didn't appall me.
I'm asking you to question your own beliefs, Richard. If I want to get involved with a man with a cock ring, how does that affect you?
It affects me when you try and ram it down my throat. And I mean that utterly metaphorically.
Believe me, I never do that to you, Richard.
And thank the Lord for that.
Yes, thank him indeed. I wouldn't go near you with a barge pole.
You should be absolutely ashamed of yourself. The way that you behave.
Your urethra is fine with me. It's perfectly safe.
My urethra, unlike yours, is intact. Because I don't go around jabbing sharp objects up it.
I tell you what, no one pisses like me in the UK. My urethra is the absolute epitome of high functioning. The amount of things it's had jabbed down, it's like a well-oiled tube.
When I saw Jeff and he revealed that to me, I saw you in a new light.
Oh, let's not bring Jeff into this.
I saw you, it was a new low, I felt. That's
an underhand tactic, Shittlebob, which is not surprising, but deplorable all the same.
It was a new low.
What do you mean, a new low? Well, I'm engaging you in it. Shut it. Don't bring Jeff into the conversation. Talk about my urethra if you must, but don't bring Jeff into the conversation. We agreed not to. We're still talking about Libya, Richard.
I'll be honest with you, Nathaniel, this might be the last one of these that I do. Because I'm finding it very difficult talking to you.
Well, you're not talking to me. We're discussing and the listeners are listening to you. Talk to your listeners. Don't deny them your vile utterings. That's what they're going to listen to get worked up and hate you for it.
I feel that the reporting of the events in Libya have been biased by a left-wing media that wish to paint the world as a ghastly place. Things need to change. We need to make progress. We need to evolve. Just keep things as they are.
No matter how shit they might be.
No matter how shit they might be. Correct. Keep things as they are. Things are great. In fact, things aren't great. Things were great 30 years ago. But people like you have transformed this planet and made it a decadent, corrupt cesspool. I wish I were dead. And that's all from Passive Aggressive Film Reviews this week. Join us again next week when we'll tackle another movie on release, something from the archives, and yet again we'll delve into current affairs. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Goodbye.